Test by students of Rivers State College of Health Sciences enters its third day. On the foreign scene, World Bank rejects request from El Salvador to implement Bitcoin as legal tender. I am Ifiemi Andrew. The local government chairman who won elections conducted by RISEC in April have been sworn in this morning at the Rivers State House of Assembly. All of them are off the PDP. 8 our return has entered its third day. Some students say they are disappointed that no one has come to address their complaints. The students who closed the gates of the school to staff yesterday said they are going to continue to protest until the issues raised are addressed by the state government. Some of the students accused the school authorities of misappropriation of funds from their school fees.
Just 80,000 naira, that's what I paid. They are not using it well enough because most in our classroom, before we get to the end of our lecture, another student will come that they want to learn. There's no space for learning and everything. So
we are suffering a lot. As you can see, if rain falls today, nowhere to pass in this school. Everywhere is flood. It's very bad. The government should look into this matter. We are dying here, seriously. No classrooms, lecture hall, nothing. We are using only one molu pump.
Our demand, they are not even looking at them. No response from any quarters, no resolution, no dialogue.
In the meantime, a source has revealed that the university does not receive financial assistance from the state government. The source, which chose to be anonymous, told our correspondent that other universities in the state are doing better because they receive maximum support from the government. Our correspondent gathered that the school was supposed to start its second semester exams this week. Reactions have begun to trail the request by the federal government to establish a law to enable it to regulate social media and online media in the country. Speaking on a television program, a lawyer, Ifiemi, described the demands by the government as a misplacement of priority.
What he's saying is that do not focus on the basics, do not focus on the substance, dwell on the frivolities. That is what this is about. Twitter has not in any way contributed to the malaise that has characterized our national life in the last 6 years. So when they try to shift attention from their failures, from their incompetence, to now begin to blame foreigners for what is going on in the country. Really, as I said, it calls to question whether this is a regime that is really serious about it.
Mr. Ifiemi said the ban on Twitter questions the democratic nature of the government.
When you have a regime that came to power largely because of the power of the social media, Buhari would possibly not be the president today but for the social media. When they were in the opposition, they used the same platform to demonize the Jonathan administration. They came to power, they now destroyed the bridge that they used to climb to that power. So when you see them saying they are suspending Twitter, they are banning Twitter, it brings to question whether this is really a civilian administration or a military dictatorship disguised as a democracy.
He also questioned the intentions of the government for wanting to control the social media.
This government does not have credibility in the eyes of most Nigerians. That is the truth. So if the government lacks the credibility to address issues, to be honest in their dealings, and they're now saying we want to regulate social media, your guess is as good as mine. Because what they are going to do eventually is that they won't even allow anybody to talk again. Look at what they have done to the right to protest. We have seen Buhari protest. Nigerians are still being shot. Nigerians are still being arrested for simply protesting. And you are saying, let us give them power to regulate social media. I would never be part of that.
The federal government had asked the House of Representatives to enact a law to regulate social and online media in Nigeria. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, asked the lawmakers to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act to empower the agency regulate social and online media.
We want to add here, Mr. Chairman, sir, members of the House specifically, that internet broadcasting and all online media should be included in this, because we have responsibilities to monitor content, including Twitter. Thank you, sir.
Some lawyers have expressed mixed feelings following the resumption of court activities. Some of them told our correspondent that some lawyers are yet to resume. Others said the strike made them seek other alternatives to litigation. A lawyer, however, said the reason for the strike was not yet achieved.
With our joy that the court is resumed, because a lot of people, their rights have been abused. There is no place to go for recourse, and the court is our last opportunity
If I come to court, if I attend matters, I'm supposed to be getting income. I wasn't getting all that. The court is open now. We're happy because this is where we farm every day.
Some lawyers actually are not ready. When they call their matters, they will still be giving excuses and all that. That means all these 2 months, they were not even ready to, move on with the matters and all that.
We've been able to establish what we call mediation, reconciliation, arbitration. Only that is not as potent as going to court. So we've been active.
The reason for the strike itself has not been achieved, which we are solely supportive of judiciary workers fighting for their rights, for autonomy.
Recall that members of JUSON suspended their 2-month-old strike in Rivers State, but this was after Governor Nyesom Wike had issued a no work, no pay policy on judiciary workers. Still ahead, INEC establishes over 56,000 polling units across the country. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Employment, construction of internal roads, admissions of indigenes, contracts and compensation over land acquisitions were some of the demands made by traditional rulers of the host communities to University of Port Harcourt during the familiarization visit of the Pro-Chancellor. Speaking at the visit, Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council Senator Andrew Uchendu in company of the Vice-Chancellor said the visit became necessary to re-establish the already existing cordial relationship between the university and communities.
To give us our support. I believe
also, the paramount ruler of Choba, His Royal Highness Eze Raymond Oruho Webilo Okocha urged the Pro-Chancellor to ensure the compensation of land acquisition agreement since the inception of the university.
We are saying that in terms of
Speaking during the visit, paramount ruler of Alakaya community Eze Dani Fanyogbona called on the Pro-Chancellor to ensure that qualified youths in the area are employed according to agreement.
We are saying that in terms of employment appointments, we've been neglected. After the first recruitment before university took place, we had 1 or 2 of our sons that were employed there. Since that time, when they will come to take part of our land, they will come here, they will agree with them, they will make their promises. That time they were telling us that when your children will grow up, when you don't have people who are educated, we are talking of 40-something years now on our own. And that time of a truth, we hadn't young men and women that were educated that could be employable. But today, we have army of youths that are qualified to work.
Also, the paramount ruler of Choba, His Royal Highness Eze Raymond Oruho Webilo Okocha called on the Pro-Chancellor to ensure that the compensation of land acquisition agreements since the inception of the university be paid.
For some of us to be there, you look at the policies of the university and know what concerns us and what we are due for, without hiding it. Other people may have been there, and they see such a thing, they will ignore it as being a cost to the university. To minimize costs is to deny the communities what they deserve. So now you are there. Let us have what we are due for and what is meant for us.
Speaking at the visit, Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council Senator Andrew Chendo, in company of the Vice-Chancellor, said the visit became necessary to re-establish already existing cordial relationship between the university and the communities.
To give us our support. I believe that in good faith, whatever is right is due and is proper, the University Management and Council will continue to concede to you.
Our correspondent reports that the Pro-Chancellor also visited the palace of the Ifiemi Alu clan, His Royal Majesty Eze Chima Okpara, chiefs of Omokri and Omoko communities. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu says the Commission has established over 56,000 polling units across the country to make voting easier for Nigerians. Professor Yakubu, who was speaking at the press conference, said the Commission had to convert voting points settlements to polling units.
The 56,872 voting points and voting point settlements were converted and added to the existing 119,974 polling units. Nigeria now has 176,846 full-fledged polling units.
The INEC chairman also said polling units that were located inappropriately have been relocated. He said there will be no voting points anymore in the country, only polling units.
The Commission has successfully removed 749 polling units from inappropriate locations to appropriate public facilities or open spaces in line with our policy to guarantee unencumbered access to polling units for all voters. Of this figure, 232 were removed from private properties, 145 royal palaces, 6 mosques, 21 churches and 9 shrines. For subsequent elections, beginning from the Anambra State governorship election holding on 6 November 2021, there will be no voting points anymore in Nigeria, only polling units.
There is still large crowd in front of Rivers State NIMSI office in Port Harcourt, despite the commission saying early applicants get attended to in time. Our correspondent spoke to some Nigerians who want to link their SIM cards to their national identity number NIN at the State Office of the National Identity Management.
I started since March. What we expected is not like that, but I thank God I've succeeded to get the white paper. It remained the green one.
I only came for a change of name, so they told me to capture. I have my niece in 2014, so I came late, they didn't attend to me. So I waited all through. Till 2 o'clock, they told me to come back today.
Just come very early in the morning, be on the queue. Then later they will match that seat that came very early inside. Then thereafter, they start calling us inside to do it. It wasn't difficult. It doesn't take time.
Formally, when it started new, there was a lot of difficulty in it. But as the time is going on, the difficulty is coming lesser. If you come early, you will be answered earlier. If you come late, you will be answered later. They say we should wait. That is why I'm waiting now.
In business, data from the CBN says the country's external reserves fell by $1.4 billion in 2 months. The reserves, which stood at $35.25 billion as of April 16, fell to $34.23 billion as of May 31 and $33.85 billion as of June 15. Speaking on the decline in external reserves at the recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said it reflects sales to the foreign exchange market and third-party payments. In entertainment, the house where R. Kelly allegedly held women against their will has now been sold. The mansion was sold at over $1 million. The property is infamously known as the place where R. Kelly allegedly held women as part of his reputed sex cult. Kelly, who is in custody in Chicago, is awaiting a federal trial and has denied every allegation. In sports, Real Madrid Football Club has confirmed that defender Sergio Ramos will leave the club after failing to agree on a new contract with the Spanish Giants. During his time at the club, he scored 101 goals in 671 appearances.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
The World Bank has rejected a request from El Salvador to help with the implementation of Bitcoin as a legal tender. The international lender cited concerns over transparency and the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining. Earlier this month, the Central American country announced plans to become the first nation to formally adopt the digital currency. It aims to use Bitcoin as a parallel legal tender alongside the United States dollar. On the news this afternoon, you heard that there is traffic gridlock in Port Harcourt. Newly elected local government chairman was sworn in today. Protest by students of the River State College of Health Sciences has entered its third day. On the foreign scene, we told you that the World Bank has rejected a request from El Salvador to help with the implementation of Bitcoin as a legal tender. The news is edited by Enoho Ogbeviri. Contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. Partly cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Thank you for listening.